Hello. Here in the lovely golden hour sunlight, feels so good. And I wanted to give a really quick fun visual for how plants fix nitrogen, because a lot of us have heard that legumes like beans, peas, they fix nitrogen in the soil, but you can actually see the structures that they use to do it, which is pretty fun. So just as a quick review, leguminous beans and peas, as well as cover crops like crimson clover, vetch, a lot of those are able to take nitrogen that is in the soil and to fix it so that it's available to other plants. So it's a soil builder. I'm going to flip the camera so that I can show you some of the nitrogen fixing structures on the roots. So here we have our Austrian winter peas. We planted them last fall. They overwintered and have come up really nicely. So this is a cover crop that is like a green manure or green compost. So it's great just to have on your beds. It's best to not ever have your beds bare. Plants will help hold the moisture and continue biological processes that keep it active for when you're ready to plant. And in addition, these pea shoots and tendrils are all edible, and they're really delicious. They taste just like peas, but you don't need to wait until they make their fruiting pods like sugar snaps. So this is a way to actually get a lot more food out of peas. And the Austrian winter peas in particular are very cold hardy. So that's another way to extend your season, is by planting the really cold weather, cold tolerant peas. So anyway, we've been eating these, but now it's time to harvest our cover crop, because we have just planted a bunch of seeds in this bed and we need to make sure they don't get shaded out. So a lot of people will till a cover crop into the soil. There's different philosophies about tilling. We are a mostly no-till garden. One of the advantages is that it can preserve all the biological beneficial elements of the soil, like the fungi, the bacteria, all the different strata of soil that are formed over time. So it's really not necessary to till your garden regularly, although there's clear benefits to it, like making the soil more workable, easier to plant, easier to get weeds out. So we kind of take the middle way of generally not tilling unless we want to kind of mix in a little compost or get our soil prepared for planting seeds. And it does really great that way. So anyway, we're not going to till this in, but you could till it right straight in. The whole plant, the whole greens and everything, especially a bigger farming operation where they have huge fields of these cover crops, it definitely makes sense to use a tiller and to till it in. What we're going to do is I'm going to break off the plant at the surface, and I would use scissors to make this go faster. And I'm going to take all the aerial greens of the Austrian winter peas and put them in the compost, and then we're going to put that composted topsoil back on the beds. But we want to leave the roots in the soil, and I'm going to show you why. So in this case, I'm going to pull one up, and it's super cool. Check that out. All those whitish lumps on the roots are where the rhizobia bacteria live. So they're bacteria called rhizobia. They have a symbiotic relationship with the roots of leguminous plants. And what the rhizobia do is they take gaseous nitrogen that is in the little air pockets of the soil, and they are able to convert it to a form usable by plants. So it's a symbiosis because the rhizobia provide nitrogen, which is an essential element for plants, and is really important in photosynthesis, producing chlorophyll, and growing leaves. But then in return, in exchange, the rhizobia, they get carbohydrates from the plant roots. So the plant shares a little bit of the food that is stored in its roots with the rhizobia in these structures. So this is why when you grow cover crops, or even if you grow beans in your garden, when the plant is done and you're ready to pull it out, if you cut it at the base and leave the roots in the soil, it's going to leave all that nitrogen that it's worked hard to fix in the soil.